Amelia, can I jump topics and have a question for you? I have seen somebody post a question about stimming, and I was thinking to put in an answer, but it seemed kind of silly, so I thought that for me to answer a question about your stimming, what is your stimming? What does it do for you, and what's your thoughts about stimming?
Brain has energy. Energy must come out.
Mm-hmm.
That is the rough summary. If my brain gets going and my body must be also going while brain is going.
So why do you choose to stim in the way? Like
I don't choose.
I know. No. What I mean is,
answer.
Because there's not. Does any kind of movement work as a stim for you?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Honestly, pretty much. I get whole
body.
I get very jittery.
So because one of the more classic things that people associate with stimming is hand flapping,
which I do. I don't do flap. I do this.
You do a little shake like that.
I do this. This is panic. This is yay. Panic. Yay.
But you don't keep doing that.
I do
randomly.
You do that for a little bit, but
I do it whenever I have emotion. Oh, it's always emotion or thought triggered.
Okay, so do you ever stim when you're not emotionally triggered?
I mean, not triggered, but it's always like an expression of whatever emotion's going on. There is always emotion going on.
Okay. What do you consider to be stims for you? Because swinging and stim?
Yes, bouncing, swinging, and count those.
Okay. So why do you do bouncing and swinging? I know you can do for hours at a time, but I don't see you doing this for half an hour.
Because this isn't a moving one. This is a emotion one versus a thoughts are going at lightning speed one.
Okay, so you have different stims for different purposes.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you distinguish those?
They happen.
They just happen.
None of it's voluntary, really. It just kind of happens.
Well, swinging is voluntary. Bouncing is voluntary.
But it's not it's a instinct to go do the action. Not a...
It's a large enough physical scale for you.
Yeah. It's not that it's, I'm going to go swing. It's, my brain just decided, I want to swing now.
Okay. Do you have a way, because there are times when obviously that feeling might strike.
Ignore it.
And you can't.
I can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it?
It's just...
Takes effort.
So then do you end up doing it like this instead?
Yes.
Like
then
it comes out when your preferred stim that you really, your body's really asking for, you can't do it.
Then I tend to get leg jittery and whole
your
jittery.
Legs kind of bounce.
I just tend to get jittery in general.
Okay.
That's when I go like this.
Because I'm wondering how you manage like on this airplane. When you're sitting on an airplane for 10 hours.
Why do I tap my toes so much?
Okay.
Or I do this motion. That
you do a rocking?
Yeah, I do other motion stuff then. But yeah, whenever I get like this, a lot of that's frequently if I need to go move.
Okay.
What you call fidgeting, is that different than stimming?
Fidgeting is brain power, stimming isn't.
Okay, explain the difference, because you just said that stimming is I have brain power, brain energy, and it must be expressed.
Stimming is like involuntary emotional reaction type stuff. Or it doesn't, I'm not putting my brain power on it at all. It just is a muscle memory almost. It's a pure muscle driven, I'm actively thinking about how I'm doing this. Fidgeting is, I'm actively thinking about this and this is taking a significant portion of brain power to do this action.
But it doesn't take all your brain power. It allows you to stay focused. It's my
spillover brain power when whatever other thing I'm doing isn't taking up all of the brain power.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I will fidget because I need something to bounce my attention off of. Otherwise, I get bored and distracted. Because this isn't enough energy. This isn't taking enough mental energy. Go do something else that's actually going to take up enough mental energy. So that's why I multitask so much in general.
Does it take up mental energy, or does it take up a little bit of the mental directing the physical so that you can keep an appropriate amount on whatever the conversation is?
No, I have a certain, it's like, okay, so you have a river. You have a pipe. Or you actually have several pipes. There's enough water flow to go through a certain number of pipes. If you only have one pipe open and a bunch of them closed, then there's extra water that tends to pile up in the reservoir.
Okay.
Basically, I don't like having the reservoir.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get bored. So if I have a actual main task pipe plus extra pipe that's fidget, that then lets all of the water go through so there isn't the reservoir building up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that makes a pretty good picture.
Overflowing.
Okay.
And that's fidget versus stim.
Which is not a... That's all of my brain power is being taken by this thought, and I need some physical action to accompany it.
And it's usually, the thought is usually emotional?
No.
No?
Sometimes. No, not often.
Okay.
Because you say usually you daydream.
Yeah.
And you don't listen to audiobooks or podcasts?
I listen to music when I'm doing that because that fades into the background, provides a rhythm, and it tends to set the tone for daydreams.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. Daydreaming takes up enough mental energy that I can't simultaneously visualize a daydream and a character's thoughts within the daydream, and then also an audiobook. I only have 2 streams of visualization open at any one time. I know most people only have 1, if that. I have 2.
Most people have 1, right?
I have 2. Audiobook plus daydreaming would take 3.
Okay. So when you're out swinging, listening to music, and laughing, or
Yes.
I call it honking, making noises, vocalizing.
Usually what I'm doing when you can't quite hear it is it's sometimes laughing. It's often just muttering lines under my breath and snorting at them. When I come up with a really good line, I mutter it under my breath, and occasionally some of that's loud enough that
So you're making yourself laugh.
Yes, exactly.
You're keeping yourself highly entertained.
Highly entertained by coming up with good one-liners, yes.
And that's in the daydream.
Yes.
In the swinging.
That's it. I'm muttering conversations under my breath the characters are having sometimes. Because I need to hear this timing out loud because it's funny.
Or do you ever think, I wonder what that would sound like if somebody's actually saying
No.
it. Why don't I test that out?
No, because my voice doesn't sound like any of my characters' voices.
Okay. So it's almost a conversation with the character that you created in your head.
It's...
In your daydream.
No, it's like me quoting 2 characters when I'm retelling the story almost when I'm doing it in my breath. Anyway.
Okay.
And it's more than 2. It's like 20. At once, frequently. That's also the overall, is I have 2 streams of visualization. So if I'm, say, in history class, where there's a stream of visualization that's going on with the history being discussed, I need another one. That doesn't occupy it all the way. I need the other one provided by Fidget.
Okay.
Which is like, where is this going to end up? Visualization, just to give, because otherwise I have empty hull of visualization that winds up wandering off to go do something else, and then you yoinks the other one along with it.
And so your fidget stuff like that, so it's somewhere where you're hand sewing and...
Yeah, or I like this little magnet balls, or I'll occasionally like work on low level school stuff. By low level, I mean like I'll do like my weekly self-review thing for rhetoric and literary analysis, or stuff like that.
Things that are rather just
forms. Or like edit, or like do typo editing on a paper or something that's not having to comprehend, but like, oh, that's not actually a word. Or like sticking all my sources on something into MLA format versus copy pasted in from the link.
Okay. So you're when you're multitasking, you're doing a second stream like that, they're not both like full power. You're putting most of the energy in one, a good bit of the energy in another fidget.
They're both pretty full power.
They're like pretty equal?
They're pretty equal full power. I can they don't have to always be running at full power, so the fidget one's usually not as full of power, but they both have the capacity to go up to full power.
And you don't
usually don't fill out the fidget one all the way.
You don't feel like you're switching back and forth just real quick. You feel like 2 individual streams.
Yes.
That's weird.
Alien. Alien.
and they are both fully, like, I have, not just, like, a visual, I have visual, audio, smell, touch, from all of those visualizations.
Okay, so no wonder when you use the phrase, you say no wonder, but for you, high functioning refers to your brain is working at high function all the time. Functioning at max
I tend
capacity.
to have,
Because sensory, all that information is just overly, and it's high functioning because it's constantly on.
Yes.
And it's usually on max.
Yes. And when I'm falling asleep at night, I have a set of daydreams specifically for falling asleep, just so I can actually get that kind of calm down.
Okay.
Sorry, say that again?
I have a set of falling asleep daydreams.
You know their bedtime stories? She's got bedtime daydreams.
She does her own bedtime stories.
More like visualizing a character sleeping occupies my spots, but also makes me sleep. Like,
and it's definitely a character outside of yourself.
Yeah. It's like coming up with the world building surrounding and the story surrounding why this character is now in bed. Occupies the streams enough, but also makes me sleepy. And means I don't want to get up and move, because it's bed. I pick up on the emotions and physical reactions of my daydream characters, so if it's like daydream about someone in bed, I get sleepy. Or I'm more willing, that doesn't need bouncing. Whereas I need bouncing if I'm trying to discuss a heated debate. Like daydreaming heated debate.
Has anybody ever said to you, Amelia, can you please stop doing that motion?
A couple of times, mostly because I'm being loud or distracting. Not because it's because I'm breaking the rules of fidgeting. Not because I'm...
And when did those happen? In class? Still?
No, because I'm muted.
Right.
But like you do occasionally when I was fidgeting with those little metal bits, last night. It's usually for reasons like that.
Okay.
That's usually why I get told that.
That was a very annoying fidget.
Yes, exactly.
That's what you were doing.
That's what I mean, is when I fidget with something like two metal bits and banging
so
against each other.
Have you ever felt like you were being suppressed for your stimming?
No.
Or judged for your stimming?
No.
What do you mean by the rules of fidgeting?
Rules of fidgeting are like rules for classroom fidgets before it starts interfering with someone else. Like, don't be too loud about it. Don't make a mess.
And visually, like, don't
like be tossing a ball. One of mine that I do is like the tossing ball. It doesn't matter as much on camera. It matters a lot more in person.
Right. And a clicking pen.
That's annoying noise for people sometimes. It's my main fidget because I use mechanical pencils.
Right.
But yeah, I
do. Your daddy and you both. I was about to stop you because it drives me crazy. I feel the vibrations every time you guys do the clicking of your nails like that.
Oh.
Is that part of a fidget or is that a stim?
I feel like there's gunk underneath my nails, so I try to clean them.
Yeah, but you do that even when you're just talking in general sometimes. Your daddy doesn't.
No, it is usually because I feel like
really distracted.
For me, it is always because I feel like there's gunk under there.
Okay.
I do it when I have the stress. Like
I don't.
It shows up for me like if there's a tense bit in a movie. That's when I'll do it the most, and that's why.
For me, it's literally
just comes out.
For me, it's literally just it feels like there's gunk underneath my nails, so I try to clean them.
Okay. I was just wondering because you've been doing them a lot while we've been talking.
I had a really hard to find piece of gunk.
Okay, anything else? I was just wondering if anybody has ever, if you've ever, well, not anybody ever, if you've ever experienced any self-doubt or anything about your stimming or self-consciousness about that, or like, oh, I wish I didn't do this, but here it goes again, or anything like that.
No, the most frustrating has been when people don't know the difference between this and this.
Okay. That's pretty hard to know. Again, we don't come with a sign over our heads.
Yeah.
That
I know. It just bothers me because this is I'm in a meltdown, panic, get away, and this is I'm explaining something.
Okay.
They're diametric opposites.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's the around my face where I'm trying to block out stuff almost, versus the.
Okay. Got it.
Both involve doing this claw thing,
so
but otherwise they're very different.
So I'm curious. For you, stimming, is that in any way related to identity for you? Like how you see yourself?
No.
Okay. So if somebody told you to stop doing that because it's annoying,
then I'm assuming I'm breaking the laws of fidgeting, not because it's...
Okay.
And if not, it's rude because I'm not hurting them. But if it's like actually irritating something, I'm going to find a different one. Switch. It's not. And that wouldn't be it's not an identity thing, it's just a thing.
Okay. It's not a coping mechanism either. It's not a conscious coping mechanism for you.
It's just my body wants to move, so I let it move.
Mm-hmm. But I would say swinging and bouncing are conscious coping mechanism stems.
Yeah, kind of. My body wants to move, so I let it move.
Okay. Because if your body wants to move, why not go for a run? Or why not go
That
for
would
a walk?
also achieve the same effect. It just involves going out of the house during COVID. That's the why that those actually work just as well.
Okay.
I did it a lot, and then it's just right now with COVID stuff, I'm more reluctant.
So at camp, when you're away for 3 weeks and you're in dormitory and
bouncing or walking places.
Okay, because they won't let you walk on your own somewhere necessarily.
No, I don't need to walk on my own.
You can't go out for a walk.
I don't need to walk on my own.
Yeah.
I'm fine walking with other people. That doesn't diminish.
You are? Because whenever I ask you to go walking with us, you're like, no, I can't walk with other people.
Because I can walk with other people. I cannot walk. I don't like walking and talking always, but I can walk in part of a group.
Okay.
The issue is you can't help neither of us can shut up around each other. So it becomes talking. And I end up with opinions even if the conversation doesn't include me.